child born today will live, on average, 73 years. A century ago, that number was 32. Now, here's the strange part. The gap between the longest life and the shortest is still 30 years wide. We doubled the human lifespan. We just forgot to share it out evenly. Let's map who lives long, who dies young, and why. Welcome to Cartogram. Start in Japan. The average person here lives 84 years. That is the longest stretch of life on Earth, give or take a season. The Japanese smoke more than most rich nations and work themselves ragged, and yet they keep outliving everyone. The usual explanation is the food. Less red meat, more fish, smaller plates, and the habit of stopping before you're full. Whatever the recipe is, it works. Japan has quietly held the world record for staying alive for 40 years. Now move west to Switzerland. Here, the average life also runs to about 84 years, neck and neck with Japan. But Switzerland buys its long life a different way. It is one of the richest countries on Earth. Clean air, mountain calm, and a health system that actually works. Wealth, it turns out, is very good for the lungs. The pattern is already clear. Long life clusters where money and medicine meet. So you would expect the richest big country of all to sit right at the top. It does not. Meet the United States. The average American lives 79 years. That is 5 years shorter than Japan or Switzerland. Now, here is the part that should stop you cold. America spends more on health than any nation in human history. Roughly $14,000 per person every year. That is about double what its wealthy peers spend on average. The finest medicine on Earth, buying one of the shorter lives in the rich world. So where does all that American money go? Not into extra years. The United States leads its wealthy peers in obesity, in gun deaths, in road deaths, and until recently, in drug overdoses. You can buy the best hospitals on the planet. You cannot buy your way out of how a country chooses to live. The data has a sense of humor, and it is not a kind one. There is one bright spark worth a pause, and it is American. In 2024, life expectancy in the United States climbed to a record high. Drug overdose deaths fell by 26% in a single year. That is the largest one-year drop ever recorded. So the curve can bend back. It just took tens of thousands of lives to teach the lesson. Now look just south, to a place that embarrasses the spending charts. Cuba. The average Cuban lives about 78 years, almost level with the United States. But Cuba is a poor country. Its income per person is a fraction of America's. It cannot afford fancy machines, so it spent its little money on doctors and prevention instead. A poor island, buying nearly the same lifespan as the richest nation on Earth for pennies on the dollar. The same trick shows up in Costa Rica. Life expectancy here is around 80 years, quietly ahead of the United States. Costa Rica abolished its army in 1948. It folded that saved money into clinics and clean water instead. Here's the thing. Long life is not really bought with wealth. It is bought with the choices a country makes about its wealth. Now we go to the other end of the map, and the mood changes. This is Nigeria. The average life here lasts about 55 years. That is nearly 30 years shorter than Japan. A baby born in Lagos and a baby born in Tokyo arrive in the same world, with the same lungs and the same heart. One of them is handed 3 decades, the other will never see. The shortest lives on Earth cluster in a single band. Chad sits near 55 years too. Nigeria and Chad are the lowest on the planet. South Sudan, Lesotho, and the Central African Republic all hover in the high 50s. These are not countries that lack the will to live. They lack clean water, vaccines, doctors, and peace. Most deaths here are not old age. They are children and mothers and infections. The rich world cured 70 years ago. To understand the gap, look at the very start of life. In the long-lived nations, almost every baby survives its first year. In the poorest, far too many do not. A country's lifespan is decided less in its hospitals for the old and more in its first 12 months. Save the babies and the whole average climbs. Then there is war, which erases years faster than any disease. Look at South Sudan, the youngest country on earth and one of the most broken. Decades of progress can vanish in a few seasons of fighting. South Sudan has watched its lifespan stall while its neighbors pulled ahead. The cruelest fact in this whole dataset is simple. Peace is a kind of medicine, and we keep refusing to take it. Now, a stranger pattern. Move to Russia. The average lifespan here is about 73 years, but that single number hides a chasm. Russian women outlive Russian men by roughly 10 years. That is one of the widest sex gaps on the planet. The main culprit has a name, and it is vodka. Around the world, women outlive men almost everywhere. But in Russia, the bottle turned a gap into a gulf. And that gap is nearly everywhere. Globally, women live about 5 years longer than men. In almost every country, rich or poor, at war or at peace, the same rule holds. Biology gives women a head start, and behavior widens it. Men drink more, smoke more, drive faster, and fight more. It is written into the data of nearly every nation on the map. Now, step back and watch the whole thing move through time. In 1900, the global average life was 32 years. By 1950, it had climbed to about 46. Today, it sits near 73. We did not just add a few good years. We more than doubled the entire human lifespan in a century. Vaccines, clean water, antibiotics, and food. It is the greatest gift science ever gave us, and most of us never even notice it. So here is where the map leaves us. The lifespan gap is not really about biology, and not even mainly about money. Japan and Cuba prove that. The longest lives go to the places that get the basics right. Clean water, childhood vaccines, a doctor you can reach, and the simple absence of war. We learned how to live to 84. The only question left is who we let do it.